How's it going, everybody? This is Just in Our Minds, and I'm here with Louie Pena, Coach Louie, Louie Gucci.
Yes.
We've known each other for a long time.
Yes.
Just give yourself a little intro here, big dog.
Yeah, bro. Well, yeah, I've known Justin, I think over like a decade now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we know each other from Mike Manfrey as well, which is one of our friends, my best friend. But yeah, man, I am entrepreneur. I'm a bodybuilding coach, nutritionist. I own a gym also in Salt Lake City. We went around for about almost 11 years, which is truly amazing. And I get to do it with my best friend. And it's been a journey, beautiful journey. And then I got into motivational speaking. I did a TED Talk. Now I have a shoe company as well that I run with my other best friend. So I do a lot, and it's been really cool to see us, grow together as men and as friends in our spaces. But yeah, man, I'm ready. Let's get it cracking.
I think we first met back in, I want to say, was it University Vasa? Was that?
I think so.
Or it was either University Vasa or when I started coming up to Riverton.
Oh yeah,
back in the
definitely
day.
Riverton.
Yeah,
it was like 2016, maybe.
Yep. That's when I moved from Utah County up.
Oh
here.
yeah.
Because I think that was when we're all still. I was on the back end of physique competitions.
Yeah,
and that was when you and Mike were still pretty heavy into physique. And I can't remember what year. What year did you start physique competitions?
2015.
Okay.
2014. Yeah, and then
So
Mike was 2014 for sure. And then as we grew, I actually moved to Riverton. And then that's when we connected.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that makes sense about that timeline. Yeah, heck yeah.
So you have great work ethic as an individual.
Thank you,
where did that start?
Honestly, man, and I like to go deep. My father. A lot of people do know my story, but I'm here to tell it. So yeah, my father. We're from Venezuela. He actually moved 89, 90 to Florida. Which is crazy because a lot of people don't know that my dad actually started as a dishwasher at some Italian restaurant in Tampa, Florida. And then he worked his way up to head chef. While me and my mother were in Venezuela, and I didn't know that I had a dad. I knew he was there, but he wasn't there, right? So I grew up with my mom until I was 9, until my father came back in the picture. And he had apartment ready, everything ready to go for us to start, our life. So that's where my life started in America. And I saw this man work his ass off in so many different layers of my life. And I didn't actually capture that until I was an adult, And I was like, man, I'm just like my father in various ways. And then my mother, man, my mom is a genius with art. She actually made these. We've sold 50 of these.
They're awesome.
Yeah, really they're sick, right? Little necklaces. And yeah, man, it's awesome because she was always doing something. There was always, hey, let's do this. My parents are very adventurous people. Now they're a little older, they're a little more slowed down. But yeah, man, and I just saw these two people consistently work. But I've always had this drive since I was little. I danced. I played baseball from when I was 10 years old to my 20s, right? Which has created this constant urge for a challenge, which came into losing weight, becoming a businessman, so many things in my life that just kept catapulting. Even when I was on my lowest, I had to catapult myself back up because, we got to get shit done. We got to keep moving,
Speaking of low points, not saying this is or isn't, but usually with parents that work really hard, was it your dad home a lot when you were younger, or was it
yes
kind of like
no.
a work, see him in the evenings type of deal and on the weekends?
Yeah, so my dad was a chemical engineer.
Okay.
So he actually was working in the middle of nowhere. I'm not going to say anything because it's still, I don't even know where this company was. And yeah, he was gone a lot, but he was always there for my games. He coached me. So my dad was a very present dad, but he was very hard, very strict, very angry at times, right? And now that I became a man, I realized like I'm the same, but I learned why he was the way he is because he became to be the person that I am now. With everything I've done, everything that I've built, you know, all the connections that I've made have came from that foundation from my parents, you know?
I feel like that upbringing can either make or break an individual because my
Yes.
dad was similar. Come home, sometimes he'd take workout on. It's like an EQ thing.
Yeah.
Nothing personal towards an individual or even my
Right.
dad or whoever. But I definitely feel like those kind of situations can either make or break. And that's also why you see people getting into gangs and other things like that because they're not always there.
Yes.
That's what I was just curious and where the fire led you, you know, because in creating that fire.
And I had a really good home growing up. There was a home cooked dinner every night when I got home. You know, my parents were very involved. And now when you see it for what it is, you know, in mid-30s, man, you're like, whoa, like they did a lot for me. And I realized all these patterns that they created for me, I'm giving that back to what I've done. And I think that just comes when you mature and you see it for, you know, the story and why your parents were there. And now you see yourself, you're like, man, I'm kind of just like my dad a little bit.
Yeah,
you know?
the good and the bad, right? You see those little
Yes.
the trending or things throughout especially if you have the awareness to be able to see it and understand the psychology and being a high level coach. Like I know you do what you necessary so you can understand the ebbs and flows of your own mind.
And that's what it came down to in my phase of healing. You know, I had to really become self-aware because I'm around people just in 24/7, you know, and I'm a coach, I'm a friend, I'm a therapist. Like I'm literally so many layers to people. So with that, which is a great realization, that self-awareness, you see things so different because now you have to really adapt and understand people and those layers of themselves. And with my coaching, I think it's evolved because I've tapped into that myself, and then you tap that into other people, right? And then you create that with other people.
And then I feel like a lot of us coaches, we usually have like either the healer or the savior archetype. You know, like we want to help, whether it's we didn't feel worthy of something when we were younger. We see things in our life, and so I'm just curious of what sparked you to want to be a coach, and what do you think some of the driving factors from you as growing up, or you as into adulthood, or wherever maybe that spark came into your.
That's a great question, man. Definitely just for my drive to be successful. And this is crazy, I never saw success about money. For a little bit in my life, I had a lot of ego, which we'll talk about. But yeah, I feel like now it was definitely just doing hard things. I love doing things. Even Amy knows, like I'm always doing something to better me, right? And it was a challenge. So I think when I lost all the weight, you know, I was pre-diabetic. I was 80 pounds overweight, 30% body fat. And
What time frame was that?
that was in a year.
Yeah.
So I went from fat to bodybuilder.
In what year?
Oh, that was 2014.
I want to say I remember that.
Yeah.
Like I remember I think a part of that journey. Like now that you're talking about that, I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, I want to say I
was pretty
recall that because I've
crazy.
known Mike for a while.
Yeah.
Like I've known Mike since 2000.
And me and Mike were in it together,
Yeah.
man. Like he was getting ready for a different show.
Because I think I'd known him since 2014. I want to say
Yeah,
something
and
there.
kind of Mike like brought
Yeah.
me into that, you know, and like our group of friends. And yeah, dude, it was more of like a man, like I'm gonna keep going. And I enjoyed it, you know, but it was such a beautiful transformation in many ways that catapulted me again to do what I do now. And I think it was the mindset of if I can do this, I can help other people do it, you know. And I remember to this day, man, I remember creating Trnsfrm. It was like Trnsfrm, but like I need something else. And then I thought of the layering of mind, body, health, and lifestyle. Because I literally had to change my mind to get my ass up every single day, right? My body came with it, right? And then everything that you see when you change becomes a lifestyle. To learn how to maintain that, it's a whole transformation.
And you know, like with Viktor Frankl, if you've ever read A Man's Search for Meaning or
yeah.
As a Man Thinks, like within those guidelines of like either rags to riches or trials and tribulations story, it's like the idea what Viktor Frankl talks about. You only know your level 10, whether it's healthy or a pain level, you know?
Right.
So like before you could have 10,000 people could have told you how you were going to feel when you're healthy,
Right.
but you could never understand that until you felt that way. So it's like going through the trials of not feeling good and not looking good. And, it's so hard. You can never explain that feeling once you get there, like even maybe now, like it's hard for you. I don't think you could tell yourself like what this level of success internally and externally could feel like.
Yes, correct. And I think at that time frame, it was more of like, man, like I'm actually sick. So it was more of like, if I don't fix it, I'm going to, be worse. Right. And then, but yeah, I just said one day I was like, I'm going to change, And that's kind of how I do things a lot of the times. I'm very just like, if it looks right, we're going to make it happen. I'll figure it out, which that's how I kind of run my life. Like I'll figure it out. If it doesn't work for me, I'm going to find another way, right? And that's just how we are. As entrepreneurs, you have to figure out a lot of things. And then we have to adapt. So I learned to adapt through life, man, with everything. Boxing, fashion, everything that I've done, man, it's been adapting to those things that make Louie happy, right? And gives me that thrive and that drive. But for me, once I hit that, like, I can change my life and I can change someone else's, I'm going to learn it. And I just hit the books. I hit up Mike Manfrey. He said, hey, this is what I want you to do. Shadow me for a couple of weeks. I did all the testing. I got certified. I was on it, man. Like that drive just lit another fire in me. And boom, within 7 months, I had Trnsfrm, LLC, the whole company figured out. And then me and Mike were in Redwood Road, South Jordan, in West Jordan, Utah. And we were seeing our clients, every single day. I went from 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. My first year, I had over 50 clients. And at that time, that space was different because there wasn't so many coaches, But also, it was different. It was consulting. I was in an office when I was seeing clients. I was doing everything for them. And bro, man, like I just honestly I wouldn't say hit the gold, but it was more like, man, I think I found my calling, which grew into 10 years later.
100%. And then I'm sure there's, the trials and tribulations in that itself too.
Oh my goodness.
Of like giving too much of yourself. But luckily you have somebody like Mike that has put in the steps, maybe a couple steps, a couple books ahead of you. So then you don't give too much. Cause I feel like that happens a lot with coaching too, is like sometimes it's hard to find your worth within the guidelines and not giving too much to every individual for the, said dollar amount or this, that, and the other. Cause then you can get stretched too thin or it's the whole, like, is your cup full? Otherwise you can't fill other people's cups.
Which has happened a lot of times. I don't think a lot of people realize when you're a coach and you have, 50 to 100 people, you're literally seeing 100 brains.
And it's like for every one of their hours is like 3 to 5 years.
Yeah. And what's crazy is that people don't realize psychologically, every single person, their personalities are different. Born cultures, weight loss, fat loss, triggers, mentalities, backgrounds. So, which I actually posted yesterday, like things of being a good coach is you really have to understand people. You have to understand how they work, because if I don't understand how you work, I can't actually make you lose weight because I need to actually figure out what's happening. Is it home life? Is it your kids? Is it hormonal balances? Like there's so many factors, right?
Yeah.
So the need to understand people is huge in this world. People need to actually understand and sit down and understand. People are dating because they want to date instead of to be with each other and understand,
Yeah, it's that illusion of psychology, right? It's the dopamine hit, whether it's food, dating apps, or whatever that is. And then people are always settling for you, or most people are settling for less than what they should,
Instead of taking the time.
Yeah.
And, over the years, I've learned that through people, because you see so many and you hold on to a lot of energy. For a while, man, I was like, why am I so tired? Like I feel weird because I was taking in, and I'm also an empath, and it makes sense. And
so you being from Native American culture, correct? Or of the Venezuelan culture, do you have any kind of a ceremony for yourself to clear your energy?
Now, I definitely do. I meditate every morning. Sometimes I do it at night. I've definitely done a lot of journeys, which have honestly opened up my mentality in a completely different way. People see me now and are like, you're so different, and it's because, I needed to elevate. I needed to
interdimensional traveler now.
Yeah.
Right? That's just stuck in your home realm.
Yeah. So honestly, my new realm of life is different, man. How I see people, how I talk to people, how I navigate my life. I mean, even with Amy, like we have these amazing conversations, and I do that with everybody, you know. And that's when you know, like you've elevated, and you know you're in a higher frequency. You know,
I tell a lot of people, I was just talking to Travis about that. It's like at some point I realized it's not just me anymore. I'm a vessel for something else, like the universe, God, whatever, the creator, whatever you want to call that. You know, when you can take your ego out of it and realize, got to give yourself a pat on the back, got to have self-love. You did help create this. But if you pray, do these things or whatever you're doing, at some point you got to realize that you're, I wouldn't say a pawn, but because you're not like just a non-playable character, but you are definitely a vessel for a different vibrational frequency.
100%. And speaking to that, through my journey of growth, and man, it got to a point, Trnsfrm was growing. Me and Cass grew the gym together, our first location. We were Iron Ground. We had 200 clients at one point. Then we opened up our now gym in the span of those 8 years. And it was a lot, man. I was competing. I was doing fashion. I was doing photo shoots. I was traveling for like sponsors and Muscle Leg. And it was a very, very busy life. And I started making a lot of money. You know, here I am, 25, 26. And it does get to you. You know, money does change you. One, because we were successful, but I saw it in a different light. You know, as we're talking about the transformational within. And man, it caused a lot of turmoil in my life. And, you know, me and Cass separated a couple of years ago, and I was unfaithful. And man, these last 6 to 5 years have been so different for me in the way of, I lost everything, Jay. You know, I lost a lot of athletes, a lot of clients, you know, I lost my partner, her family, you know, and as a man of where I was, you know, where I was building this empire with my partner, it was a lot, man. You know, I learned a lot because I hurt a lot of people. You know, I hurt myself and even my family, you know, they were really hurt. So those low times, brother, were really hard. I was alone. I was alone for a long time, just going through and just tearing those layers. You know, I got to a point where, which is crazy because I'm sharing this, but I wanted to kill myself. You know, and you would think that Lou would never think that, and I wouldn't. And that's when I knew, bro, that I was like, man, like I've hit rock bottom. I lost $500,000, bro. Like it was crazy within the span of 2 to 3 years. So 2022 was definitely the hardest year I've ever faced. And I'm not talking like poverty when I was a little kid, like as an adult. Because in my 20s up, man, I had a great life. I was really just pushing forward. I was really grateful. But Louie wasn't the same. My light was off, I had ego. I was in it for the wrong things.
Can I ask, what do you think that you were searching for?
Honestly, man, it was more fame, I guess you would say. Let's be real. I'm a 26-year-old, you know, coach. I have females all around me. I have a team. I have everything I need. You know, we just bought a dope-ass house, and it was just like, man, like I've made it, but I can do anything I want.
It's like the idea that what comes to mind is like when you pray, it's not only God that's listening.
Yeah.
You know, like, so once you take that step, you know, that's why the whole elevated Jedi, it's like the gray Jedi walks in between the Sith and the council.
The council.
And that's what happens. Sometimes you step on the left side or the right, whatever, you know, it doesn't matter which side, but you step on the dark side and you walk there a little too long.
And bro, I was in it for a long time.
Yeah, I get it. I've been down similar paths.
Yeah. And you know how it feels, man? Like, you have everything, but yet you have nothing.
Yeah.
And
you can lose money a lot quicker than you can make it.
Bro, you know, bro, you know. And yeah, man, it was a very hard time. And I honestly, man, had to get myself out of bed every morning and pretend that everything was okay. And what's crazy that everyone saw, oh, Lou did this as an action, but they actually didn't see where all this stuff came from, like childhood.
Yeah.
You know, I was abused when I was 8 years old. When I got to America, there was access to a lot more things. I started looking at porn. I'm a 12-year-old kid. learning all these things because there was no technology in Venezuela. So all these things that create someone is their layers. And then the soft little boy that was a mama's boy that was so loving and soft and giving, you know, got covered by a dark side.
And there's unfortunately for most of us, there's an unrealistic, like unethical version of a man. And that's like the toxic masculinity or whatever. That's the layer that most people see nowadays. It's not a vulnerable warrior in the garden.
Exactly.
You know, that's not what we have. We have an insecure line of men.
100%.
You know, the bigger the this, bigger the that, you know, it's all superficial, unfortunately. And that's part of it. It could be a tool. It's great. Money buys your freedom. That's real. It's real. It helps support your family. It does all these things. But once you start identifying with that and that ego gets too big and that box fills everything, you know, just it takes the oxygen out of the room and there's going to be a breaking point, unfortunately.
I love that. That's so true, brother, because exactly what I went through. Exactly the exact same.
Because next thing you know, you're up against the wall. And
and
that box is pinning
you're like, whoa. And you're drowning, bro. You're drowning and you're trying to get yourself out. And I was in the worst physical shape as well. So I knew that I was in the gutter. And yeah, man, I started doing a lot of journeys. I did a lot of meditating. I started reading more books because I stopped. So you see all those little transcendent things that you do to get back into alignment. I just wasn't aligned. I went back to therapy and I just catapulted this other version of me, man. Like, my therapist was awesome, you know, and I think I just found the right one, right? And we were just ripping layers apart, asking these questions, and I'm like, whoa, like, what the hell? And timelining everything.
What are two of the most powerful skills or weapons that your therapist helped you forge? That
be congruent. Be in alignment. Which for that definition for me was, how can I find my authentic self, right? And balance all of these layers of who I am.
And now you got the Damascus steel, you know, because you had to reforge and fold the steel and fold it over. And now you got this, you know, 16th century or whatever, 15th century katana, like that isn't going to break. You have this thing sharp. Oh, look how sharp this is. Oh, fucked up.
Yeah, bro. And that's the thing. It got me to a point where I was in a better place because I was safe with myself, secure with myself. I knew what I wanted, what I needed. And honestly, it brought me back to who I was, you know, and that was that little boy that was soft and nourishing and, you know, the masculine, feminine energies. And I really have put myself where I'm learning consistently about these things and growth and books. I was reading old school Indian manuscripts, bro. Jay Shetty, I mean, he's an amazing speaker. So I'm like, man, like, this stuff is going to work, you know, but once you dive into learning, you can actually adapt into it. And that's what I just did to myself, man, every single day for these last 4 years of regrowth. Our
new sponsor, Nicer, had a question, and I ask this question all the time. Why do you have to separate luxury from health when it comes to luxury sprays? We have multiple products. We have a skincare product. We have a salt spray, and then we have hair wax and hair balm. And what they did was put high quality ingredients together that have no problems with your body or skin. And what these products that are bonded together are going to do is help formulate a better smell. I will say these are some of my favorite organic sprays. They last a long time, and the fragrance kind of changes throughout the day. You'll get a little bit more or less of one or two of the fragrances. Check out Nicer. It's feelnicer.com. Promo code Justin10. Try out the hydration spray. It's my favorite. And that's a big part too, is like some people can get addicted to learning.
Yes.
And it turns into a habit that you keep absorbing information, but you can't transmit it out. Like you can't like absorb it, actually learn from it, and then be able to give it back, you know? And I think that's the difference.
And that's a huge difference because now I'm at a place where I speak differently. I talk differently. You know, I present myself different. My light shows differently. And that's because I'm back in alignment, you know, and there's no layers, there's no masks. This is just me, you know, and I think a lot of people that are listening to this too is like, you need to get to the place where you feel completely authentic to you, who you are. You know, I don't mind wearing my jewelry and my necklaces and being who I am. And people tell me like, you are the same as you are on social media. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a character.
Exactly.
For a while, I used to do the stoic Instagram
Did you
thing,
really?
and I didn't even realize I was doing it. Yeah. One of my buddies, Josh, he's a big podcaster. Josh Sanchez, shout out to Josh. He was like, why do you do that? He's like, your personality in person is so much more fun.
Oh,
You know,
called you
he's
out.
like, dude, you don't like, he's like, it's not bad, but it's not you. He's like, for what we love from you, it's not this guy that wakes up at 4 a.m, you know. I'm like, I didn't even realize I did that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it was unintentional.
Yeah.
It just, if you're watching that, you know, that's what.
That makes
it just-
sense. Yeah, and that happens. And I think, but again, it's what we are in our generation now, man. We were raised a lot differently, but yeah, I see a lot of people and I'm just like, man, like everyone's different. You know, they change and they chameleon. That's what I like to call it. But, and with the alignment process, I think a lot of people need to understand, like, you need to be in balance. Like, everything needs to be in order, be more intentional. And that's how I've lived my life, man, these last 4 years. And it's created just a new, more abundant life, honestly.
And you have a new level of gratitude. You can,
100%.
like, you could have money in your bank account and still feel broke internally. And then once you're on that, a lot of people are on that journey. You can have X amount. You can have 10 times more than you've ever had in your life.
Yeah.
And still feel broke or whatever that is, or broke in or small or tiny or whatever. And it's just not like being present and being able to understand what you have.
Yes.
You know, so and I'm sure same with myself. It's one of those things. It's like every morning I get to wake up grateful
Every day.
and I don't wake up grateful right when I wake up in the morning. Sometimes I have to get to the gym or do something to make sure I earn it.
Right.
You know, it's just not always there.
Yeah.
Could be the 15 concussions or whatever else. You know, my brain doesn't process the same way everybody else's.
My brain's
does.
a little
I
off.
get my MERS wick up. You know, but. But that's it, you know, like all of us have our trials and tribulations at any level. And it's not, you know, you could be, you know, King Louie over here or whoever. But like, we're all humans. We all fuck up.
We all fuck up, man. We all have issues and problems. And at the end of the day, man, like even to this day, like I've seen so many people connected with so many people, and all those people, man, have issues, have problems, have triggers, have things that, you know, they don't like about themselves because of what they've done. And it's crazy. And a lot of people forget to give themselves grace. Like, yeah, you're going to fuck up. Yeah, you're going to mess up a lot. Yeah, you're going to cheat. Yeah, you can lose money. Yeah, you're going to gamble and fuck things up. There's so many ways to see that, man. By the end of the day, we're all learning.
Yeah, and money doesn't buy better habits.
Nope.
It's just going to amplify the habits you have. And now you have the money to have the situations, good or bad.
Yeah.
You know, like it happens. It's super
And that's why,
easy.
And that's why I tell.
It's a bigger slide and it's faster.
Oh,
and
hey.
you know, you can come
like
down
that.
way quicker.
I like that.
There's less friction. It's not just like a little plastic slide. You get to the bottom. No, you're
Yeah.
going to the very top, and you can pay for your way down, unfortunately.
I like that. But yeah, man, I think it's a beautiful way to honestly like kind of recreate yourself. And I think a lot of people need to dig a little bit deeper into yourself and find you.
If you could sit down across from yourself from 2021, what are 3 things that you would tell yourself as an individual?
Meditate, find a therapist, and drop your ego.
Do you think you would have listened?
No.
So I'm right there with you. I was like, man, but those are huge, and those are big. Just know that, like Mike and everybody else, you, or I'm sure, find somebody that's ahead of you in that category. You know, it's not. We need tribe. We need people around us to help us, and you have to amplify and alter in a positive way your internal and external environments. You know,
100%.
if there's something going on or you don't feel good or there's situations, like there should be a way to fix it. But sometimes it's hard to find things, you know, or it's hard to ask.
Yeah. And a lot of men are afraid. You know, we're afraid to ask for help,
Or to look like a this or that in front of women because we have to be this. We have this weird provider
to be this
thing.
alpha.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, I hate that shit.
Yeah,
man.
you know, it always happens. Like
It
even
does.
now, I'm like,
It
oh
does.
no, that, you know. And the next thing I know, I'm going an extra round in jujitsu and I'm supposed to go home or whatever that is. You
Right.
know, like, or not speaking your truth or
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it.
Well, men are just afraid to be seen less than, but also being seen feminine or being seen vulnerable, right? Because we're supposed to be, you know, providing and giving money and being the man of the house, which, yeah, you can do that, but there's also a way to have both, right? And that's what the thing being balanced is being able to have both, being able to, you know, hold your daughter and tell her that you love her and communicate that, and go home or go to the office, right? And hey, we just made a $10,000 deal, like whatever, right? I'm just speaking in terms. And that's the biggest thing that I'm trying to teach these men's groups that I've been doing and with all my clients too, is like, yeah, you can get to that savage mode, like, hey, let's get shit done, bro. But sometimes you need to take a step back and be like, hey, man, like I can feel, I'm also human, and it's okay to do that.
And that's why I say that I feel like there's a separation between being, Serbo was the last guest, their podcast aired today, his and mine. And there's a difference between being fit and healthy, you know, mentally and physically, emotionally, spiritually. There's a grind culture and there's a flow culture. Eventually you're going to grind and run out of material. If you took a piece of steel on a grinding wheel, and it just keep going down, eventually you're going to run out. And I feel like that's what happens, unfortunately, with a lot of people.
Cool. I like that. Yeah. I actually never heard that analogy.
I might have made it up. Or no, if I didn't, I'm sorry. But I just think of it's like grind. If you continuously grind, because most people that grind, what happens? Usually you have more and more caffeine, more and more stimulants. And that's where I think less sleep. And that's when you want dopamine and you're not getting it from social media. You might look at porn when your wife's not there. And then the porn turns into like DMing somebody and or vice versa, you know,
and then it's a pattern.
And then you don't communicate well, you start shutting down and it's like,
it's completely incongruent, right? It's unbalanced. And that's been created because of social media, I believe, also, and generation and evolution, right? Technology, everything that's out there. And the open internet
and
as well.
It's made by mad scientists. Like all this technology is made by mad scientists that are supposed to, like these apps and things like that, are supposed to make us scroll zombies. You know, but it's our job to forge, or especially us as coaches, is our job to forge the skills to help people get out of these things.
And that's the biggest thing, is getting back into that balance, man. Like a lot of people, I see so many people, even at the mall, like I don't go to the mall for many reasons now, but I
felt like that too. I went to Zen
I felt like I was in like a different realm. It was weird. Everybody was just down. No one says hi to you. No one can, actually like speak to you. And Amy knows I'm saying hi to everybody. I'm like, where are you from? Like, tell me your story. Like, I want to know. Like, I'll never see this person ever again. But my job is to make them feel good, right? Because you don't know how that person woke up today, bro. They may be broke. They just got dumped, whatever that may be. And that's something that I really, live by. And I tell Amy too, like, that's how you need to be, bro. Like, you give someone that light, bro, because you never know what someone's going through.
Exactly. As long as you have it for yourself. I'll say you could probably create. I'm not saying I'm not sure, but like sometimes I feel like you could go for the light. I mean, giving the light and being able to share it is one thing, but sometimes like I feel like there are times that maybe you could reserve your energy.
Yes,
a little
you
bit.
have
like
to.
Smile. Yes. But some people, as soon as they see that light, they can grab it from you. If you're not okay with learning how to hold on to it, then you're done for the day. And then you're the one that's like, Wah.
And it's all energy exchange.
But you're right.
But you get to a point where nothing really phases you.
Exactly.
And I actually learned that from Jay Shetty. He said, you want to be present and not be present. Because if you're too present and invested in that person and you feel neglected from your happiness, take it, but you don't let it retract back to where you feel that it hurts you, right? So I've learned to do that very well, even with like clients too.
It's all relative to your perspective. It's like the grass isn't green somewhere else. It's green where you water it.
Exactly. And that's also me being able to withstand, like, call level 5. I'm never too high. Level 7, I'm getting angry, upset, like what's happening. Or level 4, 3, 2, you're depressed, you're low. I've found a really good balance where I know myself and what I'm feeling, and that's huge, man. Like,
it's the same concept as like a manual transmission. Some people might not know what that is, but it's like you put it in a lower gear, so you're just chilling at 2 RPMs all day.
Yes,
but you could downshift if you need it. But
exactly, and then just kind of balancing, and whatever life throws at you, you learn to flow with it. Which goes back to your theory of like the flowing. Like, I'm still gonna work, I'm still gonna provide, I'm still gonna do everything that I can, but I've learned to not let money affect me, not let anger affect me, not let steroids, not let competing, not let anything that used to create a bad pattern, it's not going to overtake because now I'm mentally stronger.
Exactly. You're forging.
Exactly.
That Damascus steel's happening. And something I remind myself too is like, I'm not after happiness. I'm after a peace of mind. I just want to be content.
Yes.
But I always striving for more, but being able to have the awareness and the acceptance for failure and being this person. Because I feel like if you're always striving for an emotion, you're always going to be a little bit short. You can only stay in that realm for like seconds or weeks, or like maybe weeks. That's a long time, but like minutes. And then afterwards you're like, why don't I feel this way?
Yeah.
But if you realize that like at the end of the day, I think people check their bank account, they have all these things, the accolades, and all of it at the end of the day is because they just want a peace of mind. They want peace.
Yes. I love that. And that comes with honestly being at a good spot with yourself. Any win or loss isn't going to bother your energy, right? And also feeling it. I think a lot of men specifically or people forget to feel that thing that's happening, that breakup, feel it, right? That huge win, feel it.
Don't avoid it. Don't ghost it.
Like when I was at the show, I was at a show like a month ago, boom, got my first place medal, boom, boom. I sat in the back, but they have like the speakers, like the box of speakers. And I put my hands up there and I just cried 5-10 minutes. I said, I'm back on stage. It's been a year. I talked to myself. I felt it. And I was back to like normal. I was all right. Let's go get some food, And it's just feeling. A lot of people forget to feel and process. That's one of the biggest things I've learned.
Huge. It took me until my 30s.
Yes.
Like one of my older podcasts, I was like, I've spent 36 years of realizing what I didn't want in life.
Yes.
But that's time. We still have time, hopefully.
Time.
Yeah. They just, was it Thomas DeLauer, I think? Is it Thomas DeLauer? Who's the guy that ever started the Bill? Is it Bill Barr? One of them, but he talks about, anyways, he talks about like heaven and hell. And the idea, one of the analogies is in hell, you approach the person, you see yourself, and it's the person you could have been.
Right.
And then heaven, you realize you did everything you could, and you are that person, the highest version of yourself.
Yeah.
So like I try to remind myself of that too.
Yeah.
It's like, where are you? Are you trying as hard as you can today? But are you also having empathy and compassion? Because we're multidimensional. Like it's hard to check all your own boxes sometimes too.
I love that. That's huge. Yeah, and I think that's where it comes back tenfold when we slowly create a better version of ourselves. We're higher beings to ourselves as well. And now seeing it for what it is, I'm going to do the same thing back to everybody else.
Yep.
And make it a ripple effect. How many people can I help and create that abundance, create that love, create that vulnerability, create that peace of mind, And we have a men's group that's actually, I love it. We've started a couple weeks ago and all these men are becoming more vulnerable. We're doing prayers. I'm really trying to elevate and change those patterns, especially in my community.
The guy that's coming in after this, I went to a group yesterday. So he does a family constellation therapy. So he has like pieces of paper you put in your pocket. Somebody stands in the center. You all meditate at first, and then he has different stages of this. I'm brutalizing this because I've only done it one time. But so like say I stayed in the middle, and then different, like all these people are in a circle, and then they're invited to stand in different directions that they feel comfortable around the person, whether it's like asking if they can touch them or be further away. And then he will go through and ask different people how they feel in that aspect, or how they feel from that emotion, or this or that. And then at the end of it, they'll ask the person that's in the center, and then I'll pull out, I don't see the paper, I pull it out, and it'll say something like soft, or like a softness, or mind, or heart.
Right.
And all these people in the circle that we were in, they're pretty open. It all correlated. Like whatever the word was, the way that they were positioned, it all made sense.
It connected to them.
But yeah, he's out here. He flies back to Hawaii.
That's crazy.
I just met him yesterday. He's in his 20s. He does like immersion therapy and stuff like that for kids and in the wild and stuff. But it's a process that was kind of developed within like Tony Robbins' group. But it might be something to chat about.
That's amazing.
But it is just that, like finding the tools, tricks.
Yeah, it's another part of finding
helping
yourself,
breaking off those layers.
Breakthroughs.
Say, hey, this is what helped me. And for us, and unfortunately, we're stubborn and we fail forward. But we, run straight through the rose bushes. And like after we get through, we're like, why am I so cut up? But those are the layers that cutting. The same thing with like Mike and coaching is like once you have people like that can squeeze down the amount of time it takes to get to that next step.
Yes.
Like you're like, hey, this is what happened to me, and this is what I chose for my path. You don't have to go through that.
Exactly. Let
And you
me
can catch it.
guide you a little bit.
Yeah.
And I always give this analogy to all of my clients or people that I talk to. You know, life for you and for me, how I see it, like I'm in a highway, right? I'm cruising life right now, man. Everything is great, emotionally, mentally, physically, right? I'm cruising 65. But right when I feel that I'm taking that exit road, right when I'm feeling like I'm getting deviated from my alignment, that's when I stop. And that's that moment where we need to be self-aware enough to be like, okay, what am I doing? Is this okay? Yes or no? Process, feel, get back to that congruency in that little highway as fast as you can without going to the dark side, ideally.
And you don't have to kill either one. Like people's like the whole death to the ego or like invite the higher self. I don't see it as a balancing act. I see it as a double or triple helix, like a DNA strand. 'Cause you need both. They spiral with each other through infinity. That's you.
Yeah.
Your past, your present, everything. You can elevate past that and don't have to be the same person. But you need both.
Yes.
You know, if you try
Love
to
that.
kill one part of you or the other, and I think that's what happens with suicide is your ego trying to kill a version of you. You're trying to kill a version of yourself that you can. But at the same time, like all those make you for who you are today. You know,
That's crazy. And that's crazy you say that because my therapist depicted that it was Louie and then Gucci.
Yep.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, mine's Meathead. The rowdy version of my modern day Viking-esque upbringing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that's what used to be tattooed on my chest.
That was like
in
your
Italian.
layer.
Yeah, it's still there. It's
That's
that guy.
crazy.
It's just like your one friend that's a little too chaotic. That I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. That's what I
Yes.
identify with. That I was like, hey, Meathead. No, not right now.
Relax.
I'll pull you out in jujitsu, but no, we're not going to the bar.
Ooh, I love
We're
that.
not going to the bar. I'll flip on the switch. You can come out later today. You get 3 days a week because I know what happens. You get an hour.
Yes.
But you'll come play. We'll go sit down. We can do arts and crafts, whatever you want. We'll do arts and crafts with people's bodies, whatever this thing is you want to do. We can go for a run up a mountain. I'll pull you out, but you can't be in the front seat right now, bud.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I
you lost
love
your
that.
driving privileges.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, for me, it's that I will honestly, the easiest way people ask me is like, how do you do it? And I go, honestly, it's like my feminine and my masculine, you know, and that comes from my childhood and how I was raised, dance, fashion, like a lot of those things I've created into my layers of myself. But then I also have an athlete. I boxed. I'm literally fearless. Like I've done so many dope things that it's just my drive, my wolf, you know?
Yep. But then you realize it's good to fear things because then otherwise you get into deep situations.
Exactly.
That's why people end up in prison. That's why people end up in road rage situations, get shot, whatever.
Yeah.
There's a reason. It could be your ancestors trying to warn you. And I realized I was like, I'm a pussy because I didn't want to do this or this or this. And growing up, and I was like, no, you were intelligent. And that was something higher than you telling you, don't do this.
Yeah.
You don't have to be tough here. I promise it's going to have a better ending.
Yeah. And that change was huge with Cass, with people and just like how I carry myself. That was like the biggest thing because I would have this like, you know, flat open, chest out, like for no reason. Like why? And I look back and I'm like, you never had to do that, you know? But that's because we grow, man. We mature. We elevate.
It's the slamming of the weights. It's that 4-year-old child that's pouting.
Yes.
And it's just a new version of that. I still do it sometimes.
Yeah.
And I catch yourself. Like you in here, I'm like, oh, you really showed them. Like, you know, like whatever version of that
Right.
is, you know?
Yeah, that's crazy.
But moving forward, like what are some of the other things you're working on? What are some projects? Maybe what are some goals that you are open to share with the audience?
So, man, I'm really thankful to be here, man, and share the story because I've had such a dope life, bro. I really have, and if I wouldn't have met Mike, you know, this wouldn't have happened. So it just shows you how souls connect when they need to.
100%.
Right? And we all grow in our own little ways
And reconnect.
You
know, path is
and
ready.
we connected because now we're
attracted a certain vibrational frequency.
Exactly, you know. And that's the beautiful part, man, is now I get to utilize this. I want to do a lot more men's group. We're doing a lot of events for that for next year.
We're going to be doing masterminds too, and I'll invite you. We're going to be doing some very high level thinkers.
Yes, let's do it. And then we're expanding Trnsfrm in the next couple months, so that's going to be the big one. I'm bringing the shoe company in the gym as well, so that's going to be kind of cool. And yeah, man, we're doing a lot of things with War Room and FightCon. My one of my good friends, Tony Acosta. I'm the CMO for that now, which is it's gonna be kind of cool. It's something new that I've stepped into
For FightCon?
Yeah, for FightCon,
Dude,
Yeah.
I was trying to get the Cholo MMA guys out here. They were on a couple
Oh.
podcasts back. They're my homies. They're mine and Travis's homies now.
We need to connect.
Yeah, I'll link you up with them. So I have
Yeah.
their, I can text you their information and stuff.
Yeah,
But
Tony got some good contracts with that. He has a lot of companies bucked up. I think because Conor McGregor is connected to that, the MMA space. Then we're honestly trying to bring an NPC show. Like that's like the big event that we want to bring into
cool.
next year. That'd be cool, right? And man, just keep going as a man, keep helping more people. And me and Amy, my videographer, we're gonna create this project for YouTube and kind of just covering my life and the growth and the falls. And I'm trying to get my pro card for men's physique.
Oh, awesome, dude.
Yeah, so that's the new goal. I just competed, like I said, got my master's first place. Boom, I got out. Now it's time to grow, perfect, and do it all over again. So that's
wild.
That's the challenge.
Dude, I want to say thanks too for being so vulnerable. And I promise this ain't the last time you're coming on. When you come back, I'll be back from Arkansas, my parents' farm, on the 19th of September. And then we'll get you on the book so we can go deeper into some of these, because I want to dig deeper into your psychology and some things that would be beneficial for bodybuilders and women's bikini and all these other things. Because it's we both wore that mask, and you're still in it, and you understand who you are, who Gucci needs to be. That's the mask.
Yes,
it's a version of you.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be everything. So 100%. I feel like a lot of people get this version. They get on stage, they have this this bliss, like the Conor McGregor double belt on top, but then they're always chasing that drag, and they don't feel pretty, they don't feel strong, they don't feel this,
and they get to the dark side.
It's not safe for people to wear a sweatshirt 7 months out of the year and only feel pretty for 3.
Yeah. And have metabolism changes and feel fat and their mental stability becomes low, depressed. I see it every day.
The dopamine eating, all that stuff. It's okay. We're humans, but it's also not okay to. There's healthier ways to. So I would love to have deeper conversations.
Yeah, and that's a space that I really want to be able to get to, because people do need to hear that we all go through it. But if we can create and adapt to what we really want to be, the problem is people don't know how to get there, right? So we're those vessels to put people in those places, and that's honestly how I'm trying to change and mold my business model to that. And keeping the mind, body, health, and lifestyle, the gym vibe, the dope, the shoes, the clothes, into that creation that Cass and I have created.
Exactly, and then that's another form of creation. As long as there's a little bit of materialism there. It's fine though. It's not a diss. Yeah,
read that. Destruction.
Destruction is a form of creation, and that's just it. Destruction is a form of creation. Yeah. The fire brings the ash, and the ash brings new life.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
You just flipped it on me.
I did. I didn't mean to, but
you flipped it.
Like I said, it ain't me no more. But that's what it is, and that's just what is that called?
Metaphor.
Yeah, it's a very normal term, but anyways, I'll hopefully it'll come back to me. It was that. But anyways, so. Yeah, in closing today, what are 3 tips that you'd give to the audience for bettering themselves, maybe bettering their family, and everything in between?
Yeah. Good question, man. 3 things. I would definitely say find your solitude. And what I mean by that is find your balance where you're okay with just being alone. And you can breathe, you're at ease, you're at peace by yourself with no distractions. That was one of the biggest wins I could have found for myself. Because I am an introvert, a shy little boy, right? I am an introvert. So I've learned to just stay in my heart, in my center. 2, find a therapist, a counselor, a mentor that's going to elevate the way you think, elevate the way you see life, and honestly tear yourself apart and find that inner coreness of yourself and really be the person who you are without any masks, honestly. And 3, you really need to make your mind better. Mental stability, emotional intelligence is huge, right? Which is going to help you bombard anything else in life.
Someone I lined Mike up, I want to line you up with too. I'm working with her now. Is my friend Felicia. She was on a while ago. I'll send you her podcast. She's a high level hypnotherapist.
Ooh.
She has, dude. I started doing some of her like recordings. Like she sent them to me. You do them before bed and in the morning. And one of them's like a timeline shift. So you could pull certain things out of your timeline that you might not care for, but you stay in your life. So you can kind of like give yourself grace to throw them away type of deal. And next morning, I've had a mental block for some coaching sales. Bop, bop, bop. 3.
That's crazy.
Before the end of the day. And it was like, so like just whatever it is. If there's a roadblock, so she has an interview with you and she goes through some things. I'm like, yeah, I'll try it. Why not? Let's do it. And it's been interesting because she has these skills that you can tell yourself, but it's kind of like, Joe Dispenza or Joseph Murphy. It's like the power of the mind, and it teaches you how to better have a grasp of your subconscious mind.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Which just brings into that self-awareness, in our human form, pretty much. That's crazy.
Yeah, it just adds to the fourth, fifth, sixth dimension or hermetic principles. This is supposedly from Hermes is
this is deep.
26,
we're going
26
deep.
levels of consciousness.
That is deep.
Yeah, dude, I've studied a bunch of fun stuff over the years. Yeah,
you got people don't know what all that means, bro. People are 2, 3D.
yeah, exactly.
Which is why we're here. It's trying to elevate humans and trying to elevate people, and yeah, man, I think that's our new realm.
100%
to do, brother. I love that.
Yeah, and I want to say thanks and I appreciate you for coming on. Thank you for coming in too. And then we'll, next round we're gonna go for 2 hours. I already see it. It's gonna be awesome. All right, brother. I just want to make sure you get your flight on time too and everything. So where can we find you? Social media, websites, anything?
Yes,
and you can speak right into the camera.
Website website is Trnsfrm Fitness. It is abbreviated. If you probably put that on there.
You could look right in there too. It might be easier.
Oh, dope.
Yeah. So
you guys. So website is Trnsfrm Fitness. You guys can find us online on social media as well. Same handle. And my own personal is Louie_Gucci, which I think it's going to change. It's going to change soon.
Louie and the Gucci.
Hey, baby. Yeah. I like that. Man, thank you. I appreciate you, bro.
No, thanks for coming in. Like I said, I appreciate your time. I just wanted to make sure that we don't get too far because we keep going. It's going to be there. I know you got a flight to catch. You got people to save. Help them save themselves.
Get some more medals, bro.
100%.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you
so much.
Hell yeah, man.
Once again, this is Just in Our Minds. This is King Louie, Louie the coach, the man, the myth, the legend. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.